AEW has a ton of momentum and they continue to move the needle. Guys, we know that Tony Khan and AEW have some major surprises for Dynamite Grand Slam. So we're going to talk about that in today's video alongside some very interesting stuff coming from Bryan Danielson. He just recently released an article written on the Players Tribune to thank the WWE and its fans. A lot of great wholesome content there. But also we're going to talk about a former WWE superstar, one that was recently released. He has come out in an interview and said that he's openly in talks with some major promotions. He talks a little bit about AEW Impact Wrestling, and quite honestly, it's some really cool stuff. I want to talk about it all in today's video. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button, ring the bell, join the Discord, whatever it is. You never want to miss a video because we're constantly bringing you guys updates and everything happening in pro wrestling, and your support is greatly appreciated. Now, I want to talk about Bryan Danielson first. It's some feel-good, wholesome content coming from the former Daniel Bryan. If you guys didn't know this, I don't know how you wouldn't know this, considering that Daniel Bryan left WWE and went to AEW. I mean, it's one of the reasons why I cover this stuff on the channel, to keep you informed. But Bryan Danielson in AEW has been very, very special. And we know that Bryan Danielson takes on Kenny Omega, and it's going to be a really great match. I mean, there's just no way that AEW falls flat here. But the great news is we're getting a dream match, and Bryan Danielson took the time to write about this on the Players Tribune. He goes on to pretty much essentially praise everything about the WWE, the catering people, the production people, the friendships that he met along the way, and then also goes ahead and praises Vince McMahon. Now, I want to talk about this for one very important reason. He talks about some of the friends that he's made along the way, and then also goes on to say that he hopes to see them soon. And trust me, I think there is something a little bit behind that statement, because one thing that a lot of people forget, there's WWE, there's AEW, there's Impact, there's all this stuff, but in wrestling today, a lot of these guys came up the same way. They all came up from the indies, they all came up through a system, and they've met each other. So it's no secret that there's people in WWE who watch AEW, and there's people in AEW who watch WWE. This was largely due to the fact that these guys are all friends, right? Like, these wrestlers are friends with each other. And I'm pretty sure the way you would talk to your friend, you know, if you were thinking about leaving your job, you might be talking to your friend about it. If you incorporate the real world aspect of these things, that is something to consider. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because one has to believe, at least I believe, that Bryan Danielson is already having conversations with people, telling them about his experience. You know, just like I'm sure Kenny does with his friends outside of, you know, AEW. So my point that I'm making here is Daniel Bryan does the right thing. He goes and praises WWE. He gives them the credit. He gives them the kudos. But most importantly, he lets us know that his future right now is with AEW. He's very excited about this dream match. And I just think the Players Tribune is a really good way for celebrity athletes to keep like an open dialogue with their fans. And I think Daniel Bryan did a really good job of this. And if anything, it just made me more excited to see what happens next. And truthfully, I think what happens with Bryan Danielson going to AEW, I think it just opens the door for more of those people in WWE to eventually join. So ultimately a great thing. If you guys haven't read the article, I highly suggest you do. All right, guys, we're going to talk a little bit about Tony Khan. He's been on a roll, truly killing the game as a wrestling promoter. His Jacksonville Jaguars aren't looking too good, but at least AEW is doing great things. But here's the thing, AEW Grand Slam Dynamite, it's happening at Arthur Ashe Stadium. It's a stadium show. This is easily going to be the biggest attendance for AEW. Clearly, this is a live TV event, but it has the feel of a pay-per-view. And we have known for a long time there are several debuts that have been, planned or potentially, being revealed for the pay-per-view TV event. I don't think it's fair to call it a TV event because this really feels like a pay-per-view. But nonetheless, we know for a while that AEW has been planning some stuff for this event. It is actually being said that Tony Khan has a lot of plans to deliver a very, very good product tomorrow. And there are a lot of things that they're looking at doing to make sure that this show completely dominates. It's not just about ratings, but obviously ratings do help AEW. But right now, it sounds like Tony Khan and AEW are really all in on making this product feel so special because this could potentially open doors for a new audience to watch. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, Bryan Danielson is facing Kenny Omega, the biggest dream match of all time. For those who were casual WWE fans that know about Daniel Bryan, that don't know about Kenny Omega, when they see Daniel Bryan tweeting this out, you best believe that they're going to check this out. And that is why, with AEW planning some major surprises here, there's talks of a couple debuts happening. Whatever happens, it's going to be happening on the largest AEW episode of all time. And I think this strategy by AEW is a very good strategy. And I'm even going as far as predicting 2 million plus viewers for Dynamite Grand Slam. Call me crazy, but I genuinely believe that's going to happen. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I mean, realistically, that's possible. It's a very aggressive goal. But I think right now the attention and the momentum is all within AEW side. And that's not a bad thing for WWE. That's not a bad thing for Impact or ROH. If anything, I think AEW completely doing a good job here actually helps the industry so much more. It's better for the fans. It's better for the companies. And I think AEW could open up doors for casual fans to return back to wrestling. And then next thing you know, because of the partnerships with Impact and NJPW and stuff like that, there is a lot of great ways that the wrestling company could succeed. So really good stuff. I'm really anxious to see who's going to debut. I know we've talked a little bit about Bray Wyatt and how that might work with the non-compete clause. But when we get more information on this, guys, I will bring you the news. Final story, Bronson Reed was recently on Busted Open Radio, and he actually revealed that there are talks with major wrestling promotions to join them. Now, the big thing, if you guys don't know, it's been pretty well documented on his YouTube channel. He's doing like a little podcast thing. He is struggling with visa issues, which is very common when somebody from WWE gets released. Now, Bronson Reed, being on Busted Open Radio, has talked a little bit about some of the things where he sees he fits, and he feels like he fits really well within AEW and Impact. Now, as a fan, I actually agree with that. I think he could work well in both companies. Now, we've actually talked about this before. There were some rumors that Bronson Reed could be on his way to AEW. Then the visa issues came up. Nonetheless, that is expected to be completed and fixed around 3 to 4 weeks from now. If I'm AEW, I would never, ever put this guy in a position where he has to debut on, Grand Slam. And the reason why is because you just don't want him to become an afterthought, when there's other things happening at the event that are bigger. But this could be a debut if he does in fact sign with AEW. It could be a debut that's planned for another episode of Dynamite, which keeps the shift going into this thing where, hey, you should watch our TV product because you never know when you might get a surprise, which I like that. You don't want to throw everything in one night. And I do believe that AEW put Danielson and Adam Cole on the same night as Ruby Soho and Minoru Suzuki because, as Tony Khan said, for the next 4 to 6 months, there are plans for more debuts. Now, also, Bronson Reed working Impact is a really good idea as well because he can immediately go in there as the top guy. More likely, he would become a top star in Impact than he would be in AEW. But the good news about Bronson Reed going to Impact is that he can also work with AEW. So the real question is here, where will he sign? What will he do? We know he's in talks. Great stuff. This guy is awesome. Hopefully he gets his visa issues figured out, the citizenship, stuff like that. All those things that matter. Hopefully those get taken care of soon. Hopefully we see him in AEW or Impact soon. Ultimately, I'm excited. I get excited anytime some news like this drops, and that level of transparency as well is always appreciated. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Tons of great news coming here on Destination PW. For more videos like this, go ahead and click subscribe, ring the bell, and I'll see you guys next time right here on Destination PW.